Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this SCTC presentation. Today, we are talking about all the things AI. I don't want to say deep dive, but we are going to talk about all things AI, what it is, what it means to us. This is a fantastic subject because I'm sure everybody here in the room has heard about AI and how it's impacting our world. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a hands-on workshop. So if you've got your computer, I want you to make sure that you've got a browser ready to go because when we're going to do a hands-on demo on how to interact safely with AI. When we get there, all you're going to need to do is open a Chrome browser and navigate to Bing, Microsoft's Bing, because they have Copilot embedded in that browser. So when we get to the demo, you're ready to go. So when we start talking about prompting. Before we get there, though, let's get to what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about AI. What is it? A history of how we've gotten here. Believe it or not, AI has been around since the mid-50s. And then we're going to talk about one of the most important things about AI, how to use it safely. And then we're going to do some demos, some tips and tricks, and then some practical exercises. And we are going to have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. We are going to get hands-on today. So let's get right to it. What is AI? The history of how we got here. There are three types of AI. And these are general classifications, overarching. You can lump all of artificial intelligence into one of three categories. We've got weak AI, also known as dumb AI, that can only simply answer questions. Those are going to be like your Google assistants, your Siri assistants, your generation one, your older ones, where they can perform basic tasks, basic actions on predefined commands only, like, hey, Google, what time is it? Or hey, Google, what's the weather look like outside today? And I just triggered my Google in the background. So, all right. So that's called weak AI. Strong AI is where we are at right now. We're leaning into the strong AI category, where it's content creation, pattern detection, monitoring, complex problem solving without human interaction. And that's the key, is modern AI is able to do complex tasks and pattern recognition without human guidance. So that is currently where we're at. And what we're trying to avoid, for all of my sci-fi friends out there, this is what we're trying to avoid, is the too strong AI. For those of you that remember the movie Terminator, Skynet, that is AI that is too strong, that becomes self-aware, that deems humans as threats, and then, bad things happen. So we are trying to harness the power of AI, which is a brilliant technology. It literally is changing the world before our eyes, and it's very exciting where it's going to go. However, we do have to use due caution and due care to avoid making mistakes. So let's talk about the timeline. So 1930 to 1940, if you've seen the movie The Imitation Game, AI actually came about because of Alan Turing. He created the first quote unquote AI machine, artificial intelligence thinking machine, back during World War II. That movie is all about the machine that he built that cracked the Nazis' Enigma machine. So that's where it started. And then the 1960s to 1990s, it was a slow burn. The base technology wasn't really there. However, we did have chatbots. We actually had self-driving cars back in this 30-year period of time. And then IBM's Watson really set the stage for where we are today. From 2000 to the present, we've got large language models, or LLMs. We've got machine learning. We got neural networks. We've got this entire branch of science that used to be science fiction, but now is science and technology as we move forward. So it's a very exciting future. So first and foremost, I know AI is intimidating, but we don't need to be afraid of it. We just need to understand what it is, what it does, because it is absolutely amazing technology. So first generation GoFi, it's good old-fashioned AI from the 1950s to the 1980s. These are AI systems based on explicit rules. If this happens, then this is the response. It's simple logic, relied on predefined rules to make decisions. It could not go outside of the bounds of its rules to make decisions. So again, back in the day, good old-fashioned AI. Second generation was from about 1980 to 2010, where systems learned from the data rather than predefined rules. It started using what were called learning trees, kind of like a flow chart. If then, if this happens, yes. If no, go this route to predict answers, like IBM's Deep Blue. I don't know if you remember in 1997, IBM's Deep Blue beat Grandmaster Kasparov, I believe. A computer beat a human at chess for the first time in 1997. And then we've got third generation, which we are currently in third generation, teetering on fourth generation, the 2010s to present. That's going to be deep learning, which allowed computers to process, parse, and reference massive amounts of data quickly and efficiently. And when we say massive, it is mind-bogglingly large amounts of data. The first step in this direction was Google's AlphaGo. Well, actually, AlphaGo was the World Go Championship or champion in 2016. If you want to hear the history of how Google's AlphaGo won that championship, fascinating story. And I guess we are just entering fourth generation AI, which started about 2022 to present. So we're working with both third and fourth generation right now. Fourth generation is called generative AI or Gen AI. Not to be confused with general AI, which is a subset that we're not quite there yet. Generative AI is what we are now experiencing in our day-to-day life. AI can create new text, images, music, video, audio, recipes, can translate any language into any other language. It learns from its previous experiences. And this is what makes it very exciting and also terrifying, is the heuristic learning. Every time you interact with it, it learns your patterns, your tastes, your preferences. So it learns from the interaction. That heuristic learning is really the most important part of fourth generation AI. So where are we now? What is artificial intelligence? Well, it can be summed up in a single sentence. AI is the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and act and learn like humans. That's it. So when somebody asks you, hey, do you know what AI is? You can tell them, this is it. This is what AI is and what AI does. So its key functionality is being able to make decisions, problem-solving skills, and pattern recognition. It is very good at these three things. And pattern recognition is really, really important, especially in the medical field, the cybersecurity field. So we'll talk about that pattern recognition, why AI is so good at that here in a little bit. But right now, let's talk about terms. You're going to hear a lot of terms in the news about AI, and you want to be familiar with what these are, because they're common terms that you're going to hear when AI pops up. The first thing is AI algorithms. Algorithms. What is an algorithm? It's a fancy word for step-by-step instructions. It breaks down tasks into step-by-step sequences. Some great examples would be sorting and searching algorithms. Like when you type something into Google, it's an algorithm that actually searches based off of the words that you put into your Google search. So that's what an algorithm is it teaches a machine, or tells a machine, gives it very explicit step-by-step instructions. So that's an algorithm. And then we've got machine learning. You'll see the acronym ML. Basically, machine learning is algorithms trained on large sets of data to learn patterns and make predictions and decisions based off those patterns without being explicitly programmed to do so. Machine learning allows the machine to learn from its interactions. And then we've got natural language processing, NLP. This focuses on the interactions between humans and computers. So natural language processing, it allows machines to understand, interpret, and communicate with us. So that's what natural language processing is it allows the machine to better communicate with us as humans. And then the last thing, there's two more. Large language models, LLM, is an AI model designed to understand and generate human language. So LLM, large, is the keyword there. This is massive amounts of data that allows the computer to understand whatever prompt you give it. It's going to be able to take the text that you give it and give an answer based off of the data or the large language model that system is built off. Large language model is the data that the AI can dip into to find answers. Natural language processing is how it talks to you. So it's going to speak to you in whatever manner you want it to speak to you in. You can tell it to be, hey, I want you to be a British spy, and it will give you answers in that language based off how you instruct it to behave. So that's the natural language processing part of it, is how it's going to interact with you. And then lastly, we're going to talk about neural networks. These are really exciting because these are synthesized human brains. We have neural networks between our ears, a series of algorithms that attempt to recognize relationships and sets of data the way our brains do. This uses deep learning, and neural networks are super exciting because that's allowing AI to get to the next level. We're not quite at a general AI level at this point, but we are, because of the neural networks, it's able to think, reason, pattern recognition, and give us answers in strikingly fast timelines. So, that was a lot. Confused yet? Well, we got to start with the terms before we can get to the bread and butter of what we're doing today. So once you understand the high level terms, again, if this is your first experience with AI, totally understand. Most of my students, when we get to this part of the presentation, they're like, wow, that was a lot to digest in 7-8 slides. So, but the good news is it gets a little bit more fun from here on out. We got to lay that foundation before we build the house. So let's talk about how we learn. Humans learn through peer-to-peer interaction. And I'm going to pause for 1 second. I want you to look at this image. This is an AI-generated image. And I want you to see if you can spot the hallucination. Okay. Now we're going to define a hallucination. I'm sure that you've heard the term, if you studied AI at all, the term hallucination, which means the AI was not able to interpret fully, and it makes its best guess. So in this image, there is a hallucination where most of the faces are human and normal, but there is one that isn't quite accurate, and it's can be considered a hallucination. So while I'm talking about how humans learn, see if you can spot the hallucination in that picture. So, or the inaccuracy in that picture. So how do we learn? We learn as individuals. Each one of you in this class today is going to internalize, you're going to take away your own portions of this class. We don't all learn the same way. We learn at our own pace, in our own way. And it can be cumbersome. It can take a long time. I've had people take this class multiple times, and each time they learn something new. They build upon that. So that's how we learn, is peer-to-peer, one-to-one. Okay. Like today, it's 1 to, I think, 27 or 30, but it is still me speaking and you interpreting what I say. So it's that one-to-one, peer-to-peer learning. How AI learns is absolutely fantastic. So it is collective learning. So based off of training data sets, what are called data lakes, just massive amounts of data. They also learn heuristically, learning from past interactions globally. What that means is if you have one machine tied to the AI network, and there are 1,000 machines tied to that same network, if one AI interaction learns something, the rest of the machines learn in real time. It's called global learning. When one system learns, every system connected to that data source learns, and this happens incredibly fast on a global scale. So let's think about that for a second. If we're interacting with ChatGPT, okay, and it's got 81 million users, but actually it's way more than that. Sorry, I don't know the stat, but you do something with ChatGPT, it learns from that interaction. Every other user on the ChatGPT AI model will benefit from that learning instantly. So that's how the difference between humans learn one-to-one, peer-to-peer, versus how AI learns from collective learning. So it happens very, very quickly on a global scale. So let's talk about AI's limitations and capabilities right now. Okay, so the human brain has 7 trillion parameters, and parameters can be like a synapse, where we can do 7 trillion processes can go on at once in the human brain. AI, let's talk about OpenAI's ChatGPT 3. Okay, ChatGPT 3 is about 1.5 years old. It has 175 billion parameters. So 700 trillion to 175 billion, still a big leap to get to match the human brain. However, ChatGPT-4 has 1.8 trillion parameters. So look at the leap between 3 and 4. And the generational jump from ChatGPT-3, I love saying that, GPT-3 to 4 was about 1 year. Okay. They're expecting GPT-5 in the next year or so, within the next year, and that's going to jump again. It's going to be a 10x fold to 10 trillion parameters. So it's very quickly getting to the point of human brain function. So if you look at that between generation 3, 4, and 5, we are currently in 4. At 1.8 trillion to 10 trillion. If it does another 10x jump by generation 6, it's going to be at 100 trillion. And then by 7, if it keeps doing that 10x multiplier every generation, we could see a simulated human brain within the next 2 to 3 generations. So again, exciting growth, exciting times. So bottom line is AI, it learns fast. So generation 4, which we are now in, was born on November 30th, 2022. So we have only been in Gen 4 for about 3 years. It just celebrated its second birthday. Third birthday will be this November 30th. So it's 3. This amazing technology that we are interacting with is only 3 years old. It's currently reasoning at about a 7th grade level, between 7th and 8th grade level, but it's improving with each generation. So here's the achievements in the past year. Okay, so this 3-year-old or 2.5-year-old has already passed the bar exam, the medical licensing exam, and the SAT score is 1410 out of a perfect 1600. So it's already surpassing human capabilities at test taking in like the legal exam. That's our legal threshold to become a lawyer, or the medical licensing exam, the legal threshold to become a doctor. So interesting that it's already scoring higher on exams than the average human. Healthcare, this is really exciting because this is I work in cybersecurity in healthcare as my primary sector, and AI has successfully diagnosed detected and diagnosed medical conditions, helping doctors and researchers. This is really exciting, watching what's going on in healthcare with AI that isn't making diagnoses, but it's able to parse a lot more medical data and a lot more medical records than a human ever could. That's allowing doctors to make much more educated diagnoses based off of millions and millions of cases. Education, it's really changing the way that education is working because AI and virtual reality create immersive learning environments that assist teachers with learning outcomes and grading. And there's a double-edged sword here where, yes, AI is doing the homework, and kids aren't learning the basic skills that we had to learn when we were growing up, reading, writing, arithmetic, where we had to manually use our brains to do it. Yes, they are using AI to do that. So there is an argument on both sides of the fence where AI is making education more inclusive and approachable because of language barriers, because of the different ways that we learn. AI will match the way that you learn best to present to you material. But on the flip side of that, our young people, our students, relying too heavily on AI and not learning the basic mechanics of writing and arithmetic and the basic skills to be human in today's world. And then finally, government. It's improved efficiencies, improved security, and improved accessibility. So AI is really speeding up the processes of like permits and licensures. The fact that they are starting to roll AI out into the government, which is historically cumbersome and very slow at times, the government is definitely going to be seeing some improvements, some process improvements through the use of AI. So let's talk about the classifications real quick. Okay, there are 4 classifications of AI. First one was reactive machines. That's the Gen 1. Those are the things that we've already come to understand and use, like our old personal assistants, where they have very narrow capabilities. They have no memory. Historically, they had no memory. You asked it a question, it would answer the question, but it wouldn't remember that. So it's question, answer, move on, no memory, limited reaction, and it was unable to learn. That's going to be your first generation Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, stuff like that. Now we are smack dab on the far end of limited memory, where our machines are learning heuristically through historical experiences. The machines improve over time based off of our interactions with it and its interactions with us. It's adaptable. It does pattern recognition, and most importantly, again, it learns from past experiences. That's going to be your Chat GPT. Most current AI tools are limited memory. That's going to be Chat GPT. That's going to be Gemini. That's going to be your AI assistant on your phone. That's going to be all the chatbots that you interact with. The next phase of things, and this is where it's going to get really, really exciting. Right now, we are right smack dab in the limited memory category or classification. Theory of mind is what's next. And this is when the machine is going to be able to interpret and predict human emotions, beliefs, and intentions. It's going to be able to predict your emotions based off of the hormones that your body releases. It can sense those and go. So when your anxiety levels are up, it's going to be able to check your pulse rate, your dilation of your eyes, and your body temperature, and be able to guess and predict, oh, my human is now in an agitated state. Let me engage in calming responses. So that's going to be the theory of mind. That AI will be able to mimic human mind and interpret emotions. That's going to be very exciting. Great example of that would be the Robin Williams movie Bicentennial Man. If you haven't seen that movie, that's really what theory of mind is. They're dreaming it's going to look like. Now, on the other side of that, they used to say about 50 years. I think they've brought that back. The self-aware conscious. They don't think it's going to be 50 years. When this was written, when I wrote this slide deck about 7-8 months ago, they were expecting it to be about 50 years to reach self-aware. It's self-recognition. It realizes that it's its own consciousness. It's advanced interactions. And right now it's only theoretical, a machine that recognizes its own existence. So that is both exciting and terrifying. So again, for a couple of movie references, if you want to review it, Bicentennial Man would be a great story about the good self-aware or conscious AI, but the bad AI, you can look at things like, the Terminator movie series. That's self-aware that is dangerous. So a couple of movies referenced there for the different good and bad of self-aware. So let's talk about this. The timeline at the top, this is narrow AI, weak AI. And then we've got general AI, which is, again, it's the general AI is a general intelligence. And then once we get up into the super intelligent AI, that's when, use your imagination, how the problems that we could solve with a super intelligence that is far beyond human understanding and capacity to think. It's exciting, but terrifying at the same time. So where are we now? We are right here. We are on the back end of narrow AI, about to teeter in to the area of general AI. So we're still in the infancy here. So what is the future of AI? Well, for business, it's going to be improved customer service chatbots. Right now, they haven't quite gotten there. If anybody's tried to call customer service right now, you have to figure out how to navigate the chatbot that has limitations that really doesn't solve the problem. But again, it's getting better. Breaking down language barriers. This is huge. One of the things at the hospital that I work with, they talk about needing translators. A patient comes in that is not an English speaker, and we've got something like 34 different languages that we have to support when somebody comes in. So right now we have a pool of human translators based off of the language that the patient presents with. AI is eliminating that. AI is eliminating the need for translators because, again, that large language model and natural language processing combined, if somebody comes in speaking Farsi and we need a translator for it, boom, we've got a digital translator that works in real time that can translate Farsi into English and English into Farsi, no longer needing a translator. So that's very, very, very powerful in the medical industry. It's going to help with medical diagnoses, treatments, and cures. We're already seeing amazing examples of that in the medical field. For entertainment, this is what's really, really interesting. Is I'm not sure if you followed this over the past year or two, but actors and screenwriters are really, really up in arms about AI creating movies and creating content and music, and it can't be copyrighted right now. The entertainment industry is being turned on its ear right now because people who used to make their living creating original content, and it would take months or years to create, now AI is able to generate songs in a matter of seconds for free that nobody can make a profit from. So the entertainment industry is going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next few years with AI being able to create brand new content that is not copyrightable. Things like music, images, videos, even games and puzzles. We've got virtual assistants and summarizations. We're going to get to that here in a minute, but entertainment world is going to be flipped on its ear. And then the social aspect of AI. This is also very exciting because companionship and conversations and emotional support. Right now, a lot of people scoff at oh, well, why would I lean on a machine for emotional support? But there is a large number of folks in the world that are isolated, that don't have familial networks or large circles of friends, that need that companionship. That AI is really going to change that, because we are social creatures and we do need that companionship for our mental health. So again, socially, we're breaking down language barriers and assistive tech to help us solve day-to-day problems. But it's going to be very interesting to see how AI helps with that social companionship part as we move forward. So let's get to part two. Now that we've talked about what it is, the history, where we're going, let's talk about how do we use it safely. So there's not a whole lot of rules that you have to worry about with AI, but you do need to understand what the AI tools are that you're going to be working with. There are two types of devices right now. There are smart devices, like a smart TV, a smartphone, a smart light bulb, a smart oven. And then there are AI devices or tools. You need to understand the difference between the two, because a smart device is not necessarily an AI device. So let's talk about what those are. Smart devices are internet connected. They can connect to the Wi-Fi. They can connect to the cellular network. They can also be Bluetooth connected, which means you connect to them when you come within 90 feet of them. They're basic automation. They can turn a light bulb on. They can turn a light bulb off. They can start the oven. They can turn the oven off. Basically, the bottom line is a smart device is internet connected, and it can install apps. And it may have voice control, but again, it's very simple on-off binary type control. So that's all a smart device is: internet connected and has apps. Those are the basic foundations of a smart device. Okay, and I've given you lots of different items there that can be considered smart devices. Now, what are AI devices? AI devices are devices that can complete complex tasks. We're going to talk about chain of thought tasks here in a minute, but very complex tasks where historically it was binary on off. Hey, turn this on, turn this off, turn the volume up, turn the volume down, things like that. AI devices are going to be chatbots on websites that can have immersive conversations with you. They can make decisions based off of past interactions. They learn, as we talked about. Smart devices don't have the capability to learn. AI devices do. They can understand the context in a request. And that is really, really important. When we hear in a minute, when we go old school Googling versus new school prompting, context is everything, because non-AI powered will not be able to provide you context. AI will. And then AI is being integrated into more things. And I should say, quote unquote, everything. So here's what you need to understand about AI devices. There are large vendors or products out there, like Apple, like Microsoft, like Gemini. OpenAI would be the product. The difference between the product and the model is Apple is the product that the AI is installed in. Okay, like your iPad, your iPhone, your watch, your assistant, your Google Assistant. Those are the products. They are driven by the model that they are dipping into. Okay, so understand the different products and the models. So for example, Microsoft uses OpenAI or ChatGPT or GPT models. And I think Apple has its own proprietary, Bob's going to keep me honest here, called Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence AI. Very clever, Apple. But anyway, so that's what you need to understand about the product or vendor versus the model that its product is driven off of. So it's important to understand, like Facebook uses Meta, has Llama. So that is the model that they train all of their services with. So when you hear what is the AI model versus the AI product, a product is something you interact with. The model is the data set that product can dip into. Okay, so let's talk about the three types of AI tools. First one, standalone AI tools. There's no setup involved with this. Works independently. These are going to be your Chat GPTs. This is going to be your Google's Gemini, your Apple Intelligence, and your Microsoft Copilot. Those are the standalone AI tools. And then you've got AI integrated features, built-in AI enhancements into other products. For example, if you've got Google Workspace, Gemini integrated into Google Workspace, Zoom on this call actually has an AI assistant. And if you look at the bottom of your bar, there is a little star that says AI assistant, and you can actually turn on the AI assistant and it will record everything that I'm saying and give you a transcription, and it will summarize the meeting at the end of it. So Zoom has AI built in to the Zoom work interface. Copilot from Microsoft is embedded in Word, in Excel, in Teams, in all of the Microsoft products. It has Copilot, which is the name of the product, that is embedded in all of the Microsoft tools, that's powered by GPT, and then Siri with Apple Intelligence. So standalone apps, AI integrated. Those were the two things that we were going to be using up until about late last year. Now there's a third type called custom AI solutions, AI agents, or agentic AI. So when you hear in the news, agentic AI is the next thing. They are specialized AI that is designed to do one thing. Okay. And there's two that we're going to give you at the end of this class that you can incorporate in your life today. That is their defensive AI, their AI agents that you can use for free on your phone so that you never fall victim to a QR code scam or a text message scam. Again, we're going to show you those tools here at the end. AI applications tailor-made to solve specific problems. Johns Hopkins University actually has an AI tool to detect specific health issues. So that would be a health agent or agentic AI tool. Cybersecurity companies create AI systems that can detect specific kinds of cyber attacks. Agentic AI is where we're heading as we move forward. So those are the two big ones. And then agentic or agents, AI agents, those are the ones that you're going to be interacting with as we move forward. So let's talk about using AI in a responsible way. The big thing that everybody is worried about with AI is your personal data. Your personal data is yours. It's everything from name, address, phone number, social security number, medical information, anything that any company or person can use to identify you. We want to protect that, especially in AI. So the key here is don't enter personal information into open AI tools like Gemini or Copilot on the open internet, because it's going to collect everything about you, and that could be dangerous. So it's really important to limit the amount of personal information. It's not possible to completely scrub all of your interactions with AI, to scrub all of your personal information. Just be cognizant, be aware of what you're typing in to that AI tool. And understand this, it's no longer yours when you input it into an unknown or uncontrolled AI tool. The key here is an unknown or uncontrolled AI tool. And we'll talk about the difference between like your Chat GPTs, your Microsoft Copilots, your Google Gemini. Those are pretty well controlled AI. We're talking about uncontrolled AI tools that you don't know where that data is being taken or what they're doing with that data that you're inputting. So let's talk about using trusted sources of AI. Only use well-known trusted AI, like we just talked about, the Geminis, the Copilots, the Open AIs, the Chat GPTs. Understand what the tool is being used for. What is this AI tool? What benefit is trying to provide me? And understand the limits of the tool as well. Give an example. We recently had a class, phishing, and smishing, oh my, and we talked about these defensive AI agents. And one of the questions was, well, can I just put that QR code or that link, that malicious link, into Copilot or Gemini? And the answer to that is no, that is unsafe to do because the computer is going to navigate to that site in an unsafe manner. So understanding the limits of the tool. So you don't want to use your general AI as a defensive tool to put malicious links because it's going to navigate to it and it's going to detonate on your computer. So understand the limits of the tool that you're working with. All right, so here we go. Trusted sources: Gemini, Apple Intelligence, Copilot, OpenAI, Zoom AI, and DALL-E. Those are just 6 quick trusted, and I use trusted in air quotes, simply because they've been vetted. They're the big guns in the AI world, and they are under massive scrutiny to make sure that their AI tools are safe and controlled. And again, bottom line is consult with someone knowledgeable. It's great to tinker, but remember, rule number 1 of safe AI, rule number 1 is be mindful of your data. Don't give your information away accidentally. So have that person that you can chat to. Now let's get started. Let's talk to AI. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Search versus prompting. We laugh about this because Googling is so 2023. Let's talk about prompting. So Googling, using a search engine, basically the way that Googling works is you type in words and the search is going to basically trigger off of keywords. The search results are going to be a list of web content, documents, sites, photos that match those keywords. Again, it's mainly word matching. Can't comprehend why you're searching. It just, again, matches keywords. And then, here you go, here's your information. And then you have to sort through it to find what you're looking for. It can help find information, but it's not going to summarize and be very accurate. It's your job to go through and find the information you're looking for. A good example here: best restaurant for food allergies near me that I can take my dog to. Top 10 best allergy-friendly restaurants in Boulder. And it's just search results. And then it's your job to go through each one of those links to see if you can find the best answer that you're looking for. Now, let's talk about prompting. Googling with feeling is really all it is. So if we ask the same question, asking the tool questions, not just searching for words. So you're asking the AI tool questions, and it's going to summarize all the potential information based off the prompt that you give it, the instruction that you give it. AI understands the context of your question, and answers are more relevant and coherent. So what that means is when we ask the AI a question, unlike Google, it's just going to spit out websites, and then you're going to have to go sort through it. AI is going to go, well, why are you asking this question? What are you really asking in this question? And it's going to summarize large quantities of information quickly and can assist with follow-up tasks to your original prompt. So because it learns, you ask one question, it's going to go, hey, would you like me to explore further? And then you click yes, and then it's going to say, would you like me to make a reservation? Yes or no. It's really cool how it can actually create follow-up questions for you. So we're going to ask AI the same question. Hey, give me the best restaurants for food allergies near me that I can take my dog to. And this is an actual real result. And this is from Gemini. And so the closest restaurant to you, this is the answer in AI versus Googling, which just gave me websites. AI came back and said, hey, the closest restaurant to you that caters to people with food allergies and is dog friendly is the Italian Twist. It's only 7 miles away and has a 4-point star rating on Google Maps. Here are some of the restaurants that cater to people with food allergies and are dog friendly in Longmont. Okay, now we talked about privacy and your personal data. Now, one of the things, you don't have to do this, but generally you have to create an account. You have to log in so the AI knows who you are. And in Google's case, it's going to be based off of your Google profile. So it's going to know, it knows that that I'm in Longmont when I did this search. It's going to know a little bit about me based off of my Google account, my Google profile. So that's why it was able to say, oh, 7.1 miles away, you're in Longmont, here's the restaurants based off your location. So it's given me the Roost, the Pump House Brewery, Smoke and Dave's Barbecue, the Den of 11th. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. So right away, you can see the difference between, oh, here's a website, good luck, go find the information, to AI summarizing, understanding the concept of why I was asking the question, giving me relevant data. So now let's talk about what is prompting. So prompting is Googling. So you're talking to somebody who's versed in AI because my generation it was, hey, let me Google that for you. That's the old school. Now you're going to hear people, okay, let me prompt that. Let me create a prompt to ask that question. And there are three types of prompting. This is really, really key to understand because prompting is actually an art form in and of itself. So the first one is a zero shot. Okay, so when somebody asks you what type of prompt did you create, was it a zero shot, a single shot, or a many shot? What describe your prompt to me? And I do this with my students. They're like, hey, I tried to get this from AI, and I asked them, okay, well, what was your prompting? Talk to me about your prompting. A zero shot is no examples included in your prompt. Like, for example, write me a quote for my email signature. There is a billion different options that the AI can return because there's no examples. All it knows is, hey, you need a quote for my email signature. And the possible results are limitless. And then you've got a one shot where it's one example included in your prompt. Write me a quote for my email signature using only poets from the 1900s. So that narrows the response that the AI will give you because you're giving the tool more boundaries to work on. And then you've got few shots. So those are the three: zero shot, no examples; one shot, a single example; or few shot, where there's two or more examples. So in our prompt here, we've got write me a quote for my email signature using only poets from the 1900s that offer positive affirmations. So now the AI is going to go, okay, you want a signature, you want a quote from 1900s, and it has to be a positive affirmation. So rather than AI letting it go and explore the entire universe, you're narrowing its scope so it can give you much better results. So that's the key to understanding when you prompt, the more examples you give in your prompt, the better. Now, let's talk about chain of thought prompting, because what in the first part of this, we talked about complex tasks, how AI is able to manage complex tasks where old AI was one question, one answer at a time. Chain of thought is dividing a single task into more manageable steps. This produces more accurate and consistent results. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is when you're dealing with an AI, when you're typing in a question, your character limit, I think, depending on the tool, you've got 4,000 characters. I think I saw one that had a 35,000 character limit. So your prompt can be extremely detailed and long. Your prompt can be as detailed as you want. And that's called chain of thought prompting. So let's explore that. What is it? A standard prompt creates a message. So here's the standard prompt: create a message for my Christmas cards. Okay, that's the first step. The next sentence in the prompt is going to be, we're going to break the task into steps. So the first one, I want AI to create a message for my Christmas cards. I want you to use my contacts list to customize the cards using first name only. So I'm going to give it a list of all my friends, all three of them, and I want them to create a message using their first name in that message. And then I want you to write a note with holiday wishes that is unique to each contact on my contacts list. Okay. And then the last line is, I want you to sign each holiday note with sending love and holiday joy, love, Noe. Okay. So chain of thought, this prompt has 4 chains. We've got the standard prompt. It's a message for my Christmas card. So it's going to be a Christmas themed message. It's going to write a message to everybody on my contact list. It's going to be unique for each recipient. And then all of them are going to be signed the same way. So what does that look like? Well, here you go. So chain of thought, sure, here's the personalized holiday notes for each of your contacts list. So I've got Steve, Mark, and Doug. And it did it in a matter of seconds. So, hey, Steve, wishing you a holiday season filled with laughter, joy, and all the things that make you smile. May the new year bring you endless opportunities and happiness. Sending joy and love this holiday season. Cheers, North. And then Mark got one that says, may your holidays be as bright and cheerful as your spirit. So bottom line is each one got its own customized message. And this took me a matter of seconds. So this is the result of what's called chain of thought prompting, where you can go step 1. And it's easy because you can, in the prompt, and I'll show you this, where you can go step 1, create a message. Step 2, make it a Thanksgiving greeting. Step 3, make it cheerful and festive. Step 4, sign it with their, first, address them by first name. Step 5, sign it with whatever salutation or ending you want to. Now that we've talked about what's possible through prompting, let's talk about the limits of what we're doing. Okay. Biases. AI can only provide information based off of its training data. Okay. So the training data is really, really important to understand. So the training data, every AI model has a cutoff date for their training data. What is the cutoff date for your training data? So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to drag this over and I'm going to ask that. What is the cutoff date for your training data? I've been trained on massive data sets of text and code. My knowledge cutoff up to early 2023. So its data set is up to 2023 and everything else it learns moving forward. So let's pop over to ChatGPT and ask it the same question. So I'm just going to copy this so you don't have to watch me type it. And then let's go over to ChatGPT. And real quick, if you jump into chatgpt.com, when you log in, create your account, it's going to say what we just talked about. Ask away. ChatGPT can answer questions quickly, help you learn, write code, brainstorm. But don't share sensitive information and check your facts. Okay, so it's okay, let's go. So it's got that warning right there. We're going to ask it the same thing, and let's see what ChatGPT says. Okay, my training data goes up to June 2024. So looking at this, we've got Google Gemini that says early 2023. That's kind of vague. Is it January? Is it February? Is it March? What is early 2023? To where OpenAI says June 2024. That's how far back my training data goes. But it also says I can access more current information using web search if you need up-to-date facts. So it's really important to understand the data set that your AI tool is drawing from. We'll come back to that again in a minute. So let's talk more about hallucinations. Factually inaccurate results. Double check your results for high-stake tasks. Okay. So what hallucinations are? When people talk about AI hallucinations, I think they're changing the name. They don't want to call it hallucinations anymore. I think the term that they're trying to normalize now is discombobulation, which, just rolls off the tongue, much better than hallucinations. What is a hallucination? A hallucination is where AI tries to provide an answer based off of incomplete or noisy or dirty training data. Okay, so a hallucination is the AI's attempt to give you an answer based off of incomplete information or bad information or information that is not quite clear. Okay, it can be done because you don't give it enough context in the prompt. It can be bad data. It can be its training data is incomplete or biased. So that's what causes hallucinations. Yes, they still exist in the bigger ones, but they've got teams and teams of data scientists and AI engineers that are working diligently to minimize the chances of hallucinations. That's a big, big thing right now in general or multimodal AI. In the medical industry, hallucinations are so critical that according to HIPAA, you can't use an AI model that is known to have bias or confirmable hallucinations. So hallucinations are a big thing in AI right now. But understanding what causes them is a big part of safe AI usage and the limits. Understanding the tool versus the model, okay? The model is the engine that drives the tool. So if your tool is ChatGPT, let me bring this over. Let me bring this over one more time because Gemini is very good at seeing this. So the tool is the interface that I'm working with. Gemini is the tool. Okay. Now up here, it's allowing me to choose the model. Right now, I only have access to 2.5 because I am not a pro member that gives me the different models that I can tap into. Currently, I'm using 2.5 Flash, and they're same thing over here. You can go GPT plus, so you can actually get the different GPTs. And here's the different tools or the different models that you can plug in to your tool. So again, the tool is the AI interface, and then the model, you can choose the different models to plug into based off of what you're attempting to do. So understand the difference between the tool, which is the interface you're using, and the model, which is the engine that drives that tool. So let's get to specific design. AI accomplishes specific tasks like virtual assistants, chatbots, audio, video generators, etc. So specific design, this is where the difference between an agent or agentic AI that is specifically designed to do one thing versus a multimodal AI that is able to do text to text, voice to text, video to text, 3D imaging to text. Multimodal means it can do a bunch of different things. It's not specifically designed to do one thing. So understand what the AI is designed to accomplish. Because if you ask an AI that isn't meant to do what you're asking it to do, the AI will say, hey, I am strictly just a chatbot. I can't create videos for you. So AI is designed to do specific job. And then moderate. So the human moderator is absolutely critical. So understanding that hallucinations occur, they're getting fewer and far between as the AI gets better, but you always do want to fact check, especially with critical things. You want to fact check what AI is giving you. That's the key. Human moderation, still very, very important in all aspects of AI usage. Now, let's talk top tools to get you started. The types of tools that are out there. We've talked heavily about Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, Apple Intelligence, Zoom to a minor to a minor degree, simply because we interact with Zoom every time we have an SCTC class. But if you're curious and want to explore further, there's a website out there called TAFT, TAAFT, stands for There's an AI for That. You can go to www.there'sanaIforthat.com, and it gives you a list of all the majors, but also, I think the last count, there was something like 14,000 different AI tools that are on the market right now and the different things that they do. So if you're curious, there's an AI for that. It's a website that tracks all the current AI tools that are on the market and growing. Let's get hands-on. Let's have some fun. I am going to go ahead and pop back up, and feel free to join with me. We are going to go to bing.com. You're going to see this icon right here. Okay, this is your AI agent. This is your AI tool. We are now in Copilot. And hi there, what should we dive into today? Now, notice I am not signed in. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to sign in, but understand that the heuristic, the learning from, occurs only when you sign in and you give it that history, a place to build from. So you can use Copilot without signing in, but it's not going to remember your interaction from time to time from each instance. So everything that I'm going to do here is not going to be stored anywhere associated to me. It's simply going to be diving into the AI model through the Copilot tool. So in the handout, we've given a couple of examples. So let's do some basic prompting. First, explain AI like I'm 10 years old. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're asking the AI to explain itself to us from a child's perspective. Is this a 0 shot, a 1 shot, or a many shot?
Numero uno?
That's correct. There's a 1 shot, because explain AI, that's the first one. And then the second example is like I'm 10 years old. So you're right, it's a 1 shot. So here we go. Let's see what it says. All right, imagine have a super smart robot friend who loves helping you stuff that's kind of what AI is, short for artificial intelligence. And then it goes through and gives you a brief synopsis. So kind of cool, pretty quick. Let's see what the next one is. The next one is create a menu for dinner tonight. I only have hamburgers, cream of mushroom soup, and spaghetti noodles. Let's see what it comes back with. All right, so no worries. Those ingredients could also become a cozy dinner. Here's a sample. So literally, I mean, it's given us a couple of different things. So creamy beef spaghetti night, ingredients, instructions, optional upgrades, side ideas, dessert. So it didn't just give us the answer. it actually gave us some additional information. So let's do another one shot. The next one is summarize today's headlines. Okay, so let's see what's happening in the news today on NBC.com. Here's a quick rundown. Titan submersible tragedy, Texas redistricting, Ghislaine Maxwell interview, federal jobs data, and bank executive order. So it summarizes, but then it also gives us the links. So if we want to explore further, we can click those links and go to it. But again, it's a quick rundown. I mean, literally, you can just type it in, and within a few seconds, you've got a summarization. Now, let's do something a little bit more complex. This one, example number 4, we are going to create a thank you note for my granddaughter who's 6 years old. Thank her for the handmade drawing she made for me. Okay, let's see. We didn't tell it how long the message should be, just that here's, we're writing it to my 6-year-old granddaughter. So thank you so much for the beautiful drawing you made for me. It was full of colors and love, and it made me smile so big. So again, it's really, really quick. It's got emojis. And AI is very, very good at creating content quickly. Let's go to the next one. We're going to go create an image of a dog riding a unicorn, make it realistic. Okay. So in this one, again, this is a multimodal AI tool, which means it can do text to text, it can do text to image. So let's see what it can do. Create an image of a dog riding a unicorn and make it realistic. So there's the limit here. Okay. So it's saying I would love to do that. However, it requires that I sign in to do this. Okay. So now I'm signed in on my personal account. Now it allows you to create images. Again, this is just through my regular Microsoft account. And it's going to take a second. It's going to create that image. And while it's doing that, I'm going to get the next prompt up and ready to go. And it never fails. Normally, it's like 5 to 6 seconds until it's a live demo. And here we go. Okay, so it's a golden retriever. And here comes a one-of-a-kind, your noble pup trotting atop a majestic unicorn brought to life with realism and flair. That's not bad. There we go. Now the image is done. Okay, not too shabby. Pretty realistic. Golden retriever atop a unicorn. Now, let's do this one. Hey, let's ask AI. Let's recommend a thriller movie that involves ghosts and stars Tommy Lee Jones. Let's see what it does with a recommendation of Tommy Lee Jones and a thriller movie involving ghosts. So if you're in the mood for ghostly thriller with Tommy Lee Jones, check out The Electric Mist of 2009. There's also Gotham from 1998. So, and it gives you a quick synopsis of the movies. And then here's the follow-up questions. Well, let's find out top-rated Tommy Lee Jones. So the follow-on tasks that AI can do that a Google search won't. So this is interesting that what are some of the top-rated movies? It does a breakdown of Tommy Lee Jones's top-rated movies. So we've got Fugitive, No Country for Old Men, Men in Black. And then it's got the links. And then again, you can keep clicking and it can compare. Like, for example, let's compare his roles in The Fugitive and No Country for Old Men. So this is exactly what we're talking about with follow-on tasks with AI. So it does a breakdown of the characters, the character names, the profession, and just the different breakdowns of the characters in those movies. So let's do the last one. Actually, I've got 2 more. This one's going to be a doozy. So I want it to plan a trip for me. You're a travel planner. So this is the other thing about AI that is really, really important to understand is if you give AI context, it can give you a lot more detail. So in this case, I want to plan a 3-day trip. I've got 3 days. I want to go from Longmont to the Grand Canyon. So I'm telling the AI, hey, AI, you're a travel planner. Okay. So the travel planner, once you tell the AI what it is, it will give you much better results. Rather than just say, please plan a 3-day trip from Longmont, Colorado, your results will be different. But anyway, day 1, Longmont to Moab, highlights, hotel recommendations, where to stay. Day 2, Moab, the Grand Canyon, the highlights, hotel recommendations. And it's the other thing is here, we'll be driving and we'll need to stop for gas and hotels for the night. Create a list of activities during the stay. So it limited my driving to about 6.5 hours per day. And then it gave me what I should do at the Grand Canyon. Then it tells me, let me know if you'd like to add rafting, biking, detour to Sedona or Santa Fe. So it can help me with suggestions for my trip. But that's a pretty complicated ask, and it did it in a matter of seconds. From there, I can fine tune my trip. But that's how AI is going to make things very, very interesting, much more efficient, rather. The next one, this is okay. This is the part of translation that is very, very interesting. In this case, I want to know what this says. Okay. I don't know what the source language is. I just know I want it into English. So that natural language processing, that LLM is going to be able to look at it and go translate. Okay. Here's the English translation. North is the most outstanding instructor and should either get a raise or at least a box of cookies. So it translated that very quickly. And I can ask it, what language was that? And it remembers off of that was Japanese. We're going to query AI. You can actually, if you have an IT question, you can actually ping AI. That's how we help broaden our knowledge and be able to help anybody who comes to us with an IT problem, is because we have infinite knowledge now because we have harnessed the power of AI. The only limit is the imagination. So last two tools that I wanted to add today, and this is a QR code you can scan. Agentic AI, defensive AI tools. Now, I was actually having a conversation right before this class about how do I protect myself against QR code scams, and define irony, the fact that we're talking about QR code scams by me asking you to scan a QR code. So in this case, whether you have an Android or an Apple, you can download Malwarebytes onto your phone. Once you do that, you can open the app, and I'm actually going to create a video specifically for this, and I'll have this up on SCTC's YouTube channel here in the next day or so on how to get to Malwarebytes Scam Guard from within the mobile app. So basically what this does is it allows you to download an AI agent on your phone that you can paste QR codes and paste text messages to, and that AI tool will check to see if it's a scam. The other one is Bitdefender's Scam IO. It can be used in multiple ways. For WhatsApp, you can use it on the web app, you can use it in Facebook Messenger. This slide deck is going to be sent out to everybody, and this is also in the handout. So if you want to, after class, scan one of these QR codes and play around with these defensive AI agents, they're very, very powerful in the fight against phishing texts and QR code scams and all of that. So with that, AI is a complex topic that is growing and changing faster than any other technology in human history. And there's no question, no doubt about how fast AI is proliferating in our world. Again, faster than any technology. The last technology that changed the world was the cell phone or the smartphone. And it took 14 to 15 years to get I think it was a 90% adoption rate. I think the number was 90%. It took less than 2 years for AI to accomplish the same thing. Before that, it was television, which took about 30 years to reach 90% adoption. So the AI adoption, or the adoption of this technology, is incredibly quick, and it is definitely going to be an interesting future. So I did leave you with this. If you want to learn more, this last week or two, I've been going through the Google's AI course, and it's a really good intro. If you want to learn more about the inner workings of AI and how it works, if you are interested and would like to learn more, that is Google's machine learning and AI course. Is absolutely free. They're in about 20 or 30-minute segments. So if you want to learn more, learn what's going on underneath the hood, click on that link and take some of the classes. I've been really impressed with it. So with that, let's do some questions. Julie, let's see here. Go ahead and unmute. Yes.
Oh, I've used Copilot quite a bit, and I really like it. We've become pretty good friends. But do I need to bother to learn the other ones right away?
No.
It's hard enough just learning the Copilot, and I found it really easy to use, and it has helped me immeasurably in so many areas. But I didn't know, do I have to do Gemini, or, do you have to learn them all?
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret sauce of what's happening under the hood. So Microsoft's Copilot. Microsoft, speaking of investing in AI, bought a 40% or 48% ownership share of OpenAI ChatGPT. So Microsoft is powered by ChatGPT. So if you're using Copilot, you're actually using ChatGPT under the hood. So, so to answer your question directly, no. Whichever tool you choose, stick with it, because the more you interact with it, the better the interactions you're going to have with it, because it's learning from you. It's going to be able to give you much better, precise responses and context because of that learning experience between you and your LLM or your AI. So again, short answer: pick one that you're comfortable with and stick with it and run with it. Great question.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes back so fast. My husband is tired of me just being awed by the power and the speed of this thing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And I know Bobsky teaches a great class on how to find stuff on the internet with AI. There's a couple of other AI classes with the SCTC. Mine is more of the nuts and bolts, just getting started and what tools to choose from, where a couple of the other classes are more, let's get in depth. Let's find specifically what you're looking for.
Hey, North, we got a couple of questions in the chat as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I see Rose. Great question, by the way, Julie. Thank you for that. Rose, you asked, can I put apps on my Windows 10 PC? Absolutely. You can install ChatGPT. I don't know if Gemini has an app. I think Gemini is just a website interface. But yeah, if you want to, if there's a specific app that you're looking for, going back to the rule of make sure that you're using AI tools that are legitimate, that are safe, because they're vetted. Yeah, you can absolutely put the AI apps on your Windows 10 PC. That's a really great question to pose the SCTC team on one of the drop-in labs on Friday. If you have a specific app that you want to know about, yeah, stop by on one of the drop-in labs, the virtual labs on every other Friday, and we can have that conversation for sure. So great question, Rose. Looks like we've got another one from Susan. Do AI products communicate with each other? ChatGPT with Gemini or with Apple or Meta's products? Why would each company develop its own product? That is a great question. So I guess the high level, do they communicate with each other? Not directly, not unless you point them at one another. Like one of the things that I love to do is I look at malware, malicious code every day. And what I'll do is I'll put a snippet of code in Copilot, and then I'll put it into Gemini, and I'll see which one comes back with a different result, which one's better. So they can communicate with each other, but again, these are enclosed ecosystems for protection. So they do have the capability to reach out to the web, the internet, for information. So I guess the direct question is, it's possible where you can have AI talk to each other like Gemini and Copilot, but again, they're very isolated and compartmentalized ecosystems based off of the brand. And why would each company develop its own product? Again, it's that question of Ford, GMC, Volkswagen. It's, which interface do you like best? I mean, because the data's the data. It's just which AI can parse that data fastest and give you the best results. So this is the arms race that we now currently live in, is the company that can develop the best AI product is going to make the most money and be the richest. So that's why each company would develop its own product. Because again, I like Dr. Pepper. You may like Coke. Bobsky may like Sprite. So it's all soda. It's just different flavors of the same product. So that's why companies would create their own AI. How to watch again iPhone 64? That is a great question. If you are not already, bounce over to YouTube and search for Info SCTC. Make sure that you are signed up for our YouTube channel. I'm going to have this video ready probably in the next couple of days. It takes me about a day to do all the video editing and all the magic, but absolutely sign up and join and subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the replays of these videos. Jenny, good to see you. I just saw that you popped in. How do you decide between the AI tools? And again, that's the Coke versus Pepsi versus Dr. Pepper versus ginger ale. It's really which ecosystem, which environment do you work in? Like, for example, if you work in Microsoft Edge, you're probably going to want to choose Copilot because that Copilot is embedded in the Edge browser. Whereas if you're in Google Chrome, then Gemini is the AI tool that's embedded in Google. If you're working in Safari or Apple, you may have Apple intelligence. So to answer your question of how you decide is play around, explore, find one that you like. If you're comfortable with one, stick with it. I wouldn't really trust Bobsky's backdoor garage side door AI because we don't know what Bobsky's doing with our data. So stick with one of the big ones, and that's how I would decide which AI tool. Stick with the big name brands that are known to be secure, and just play with them. Find the one that's comfortable for you. Fred Abrams. So it looks like clear history is if there's a question about how to clear the history, let's go over to Gemini, where here, let me see here. So I've got a whole bunch of recent searches. You can actually go to settings, activity. So from here, Gemini apps activity, you can actually turn it off and delete activity, or you can come in here and just delete. There's today, there's the 14th. That's how you clear your data. Each AI model, you can actually delete data or just go in and delete for the day, and it's just that easy. So that's how you clear your activity, and each AI has that capability. So, whew, I flew through those questions. Does anybody have anything else? If you need help after the class, I put my information up here. RMTS, Rocky Mountain Technical Solutions, is my consulting firm. And I do love questions. I have folks throw them at me all the time. There's my email, there's my office phone number, and there's my website. If you want to hit me up directly, I do also volunteer at the SCTC. There's the support number and the email if you'd like to shoot questions over to SCTC as well. But with that, I am at time. I actually have 2 minutes over, dag nabbit. But that is the presentation on. So you want to learn more about AI. Thank you so much for attending today, and we will see you in the next class. Thanks for attending.
Well, friends, that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed this video today. Hey, before you go, if you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to know when the latest SCTC video comes out, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. And if you have any ideas or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a comment below. We'll see you next time.